Let's try this again. Good evening. Let's call the meeting to order. If we would please stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And then let's go on to roll call.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Here.
Commissioner Cabo,
Here.
Commissioner Shaw, Vice Chair Colwell,
Here.
Chair Villaluna.
Present. Let's see, what is it? Commissioner Cobble moved to excuse the absences of commissioners. Oh, this is.
That's from our,
This is an old minutes. One moment.
I believe,
Where do I have? Oh, here. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. We'll go on to our presentation for the evening. The following presentation will be made by the Fine Arts and Historical Commission. This is in recognition of Parmal Shah for his service as chair of the Fine Arts and Historical Commission from July 2023 to May 2024.
Madam Chair, we have a plaque to present to Commissioner Shaw for his service to the community, and that is at the end of the dais. And if the commission would like to have a photo to recognize his service, we can do that now in front of the screen.
Thank you. Here you go, Parmal. Thank you for your service,
Thank you,
Parmal.
thank you, thank you. We're happy to serve.
Kelly? Okay. You want me to take one?
Yeah.
Or I can send you this one either way.
Take it here. That's fine.
What happened?
That's a better picture, grandbaby.
there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Parmal. On to public comments and suggestions. Any public comments? Okay, and then we'll move on to consent of calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a comment that there were no written comments received prior to the meeting tonight.
Thank you. So we'll move to the vote, approval of minutes. And we'll do electronic vote.
Want a roll call? The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. So I have to sign that. Let's go on to new and old business.
Seven A.
7A, review and consideration pursuant to the City of Cerritos Commission and Committee scope of authority policy of a commissioner's suggestion for a commission-initiated special evaluation project for an art festival to be presented at the Cerritos Civic Center or Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the meeting of July 18th, Commissioner Cobble expressed an interest to bring before the commission for further discussion on a project that may be of interest for the commission to request that the City Council consider. This is an idea to initiate a project that would be an arts festival in the community that would be presented either at the Civic Center or the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts. Staff recommends that the City Council provide review and consideration of this item. The City Council has requested that any ideas from the commissions be discussed by the commission with options of either the commission supporting the idea and send a letter to the City Council asking for an evaluation of a special project of this nature. This is done prior to staff being able to initiate any type of study, and this has to be approved and authorized by the City Council at a public meeting. So with that, I would open this up for further discussion by the Commission as to whether, as a body, you would approve and support asking the City Council for permission to study this further. So at this time, I will open up the discussion for the Commission, and your options will be to either support a program that would have an arts festival in the community, or to receive and file the report.
Motion to approve this commission-sponsored program, as I believe it will, if done correctly, it will bring in art tourism into the city of Cerritos. And at either one of those locations, most of that art tourism will benefit the Cerritos Sheraton or the Cerritos Town Center, I believe. So at least to study it. So that's my motion to approve is based on that.
So would that be option 1 in the report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have an idea of scope, though? I mean, I think I need some more definition of what we're talking about.
The scope would, the reason why I said either the Civic Center or the Performing Arts Center is to keep it small, at least initially. And if it is successful, we can expand it over time to eventually include both properties, and maybe eventually get it all the way over to Heritage Park over time if it grows. If we only have a little bit of support for it from the external communities and whatnot, we can just keep it at the Performing Arts Center or here at the Civic Center. But the whole thing is, the whole purpose of it is to generate art tourism dollars to view the sculpture and then for them to spend their money either at our restaurants, stores, hotels, whatnot.
Okay, so besides touring the artwork, what do you envision this art festival? Our
Well,
local,
we can from year to year we can develop a theme, each year for it, but at least initially, I'm keeping it vague because we can take it anywhere, but this is just so that we can then take it to the next step of reviewing and seeing, okay, what's the feasibility of it? There's everything came from this book that the city gave to each of us, The Economic Power of Public Art. And, it could be light art, where you have, projections. It could be miniatures. It could be statues. It could be paintings. It could be any number of things that we as a commission, in conjunction with the city council, contain it as. And it can be as broad as we want. But, we could say, we can restrict it to the history of the area. Or we can say, expand that to history in general. So, I mean, there are these types of art festivals from Cincinnati, San Antonio, all across the country that generate millions of dollars for those cities.
okay. So would this be
this
inviting
this,
local artists to our city, or is this showcasing our own things? Or
it could
I'm just trying to
be
understand.
local artists. If we wish to restrict it to that, it could be artists beyond that. But we would be working with the city council as far as to define what parameters we put on the art festival. This is just to get an art festival started.
Okay, so a
As far
festival.
as for us to be able to study that,
Okay,
the feasibility of it.
so a festival, I mean, it's like an event.
Yeah.
It's
Like
Who
what
knows
you
how
guys
long-
went to Loveland, Colorado.
okay.
to see.
So we have artworks in the city. Would then people be coming to tour those, or would we have local artists showcasing their own things,
it would
or
be
would it be
local
a
artists
combination
or
of
artists from around
all
the
two
country or
for
around the state.
a set
to show
amount of time, as you say, maybe a theme or something?
Yeah, for usually a weekend or a week.
Okay.
That's usually
with
what it is.
maybe other smaller events peppered in just to keep things interesting. But okay, I'm just trying to wrap my head around what you're proposing.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is to get the ball rolling, essentially, in order to generate tourism dollars, art tourism dollars to the city of Cerritos, mostly at the town center and the Cerritos Sheridan.
Okay.
So I was just gonna say, so this, what we're voting for right now is just the first step if the council will consider
Yes.
our proposal. So we can do the fine details after it's been approved, if approved by the council, correct?
Yeah, and the council may put parameters on it that they want on it for us to work off of. So, and I'm thinking of a specific council member in particular who has brought this up as an idea before, only he brought it up as a larger idea, and I basically have taken his idea and contracted it and basically left it intentionally vague so that the council can, in essence, direct us how they want it structured as far as the scope of the artists and whatnot. So, and that council member was Councilmember Barrows. So,
Parmal, do you have anything? We all
No, I think I like the idea. We have to do something, you know, to create the interest in the community. So I think a lot of city they're doing it. So I think it's good idea.
And if I'm not mistaken, we have a motion already on,
Yeah.
right? So we
so I
can,
made the motion to approve and send a letter to the council.
I think we have a great collection of art in the city. I think I'm very proud of it. So I too believe it's, at least at this step, is a good idea. So I'll second that motion.
Okay, all right. The motion was made by Commissioner Cobble, seconded by Chair Villaluna, and carried 5-1.
Thank
5-0.
you.
Or 5-0.
I was gonna say, we only have 5.
Okay, with that motion, so staff will be preparing a letter to the city council stating the support, unanimous support of the Fine Arts and Historical Commission to request for an evaluation and a feasibility study to have a fine arts festival within the city of Cerritos for their final review and direction.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you. That's my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
On to 7B, the review and consideration pursuant to the City of Cerritos Commission and Committee scope of authority policy of a commissioner's suggestion for a commission-initiated special evaluation project for the installation of Transformer Autobot statues at the Cerritos Auto Square.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the Fine Arts and Historical Commission. On July 18th, Commissioner Cobble brought before the commission an idea to bring economic development to the city via the Cerritos Auto Square by promoting a program to develop a type of transformer-style Autobot statues, and also to develop that further with other types of Autobot-type merchandise and toys that would bring the possible customers to the Auto Square dealerships for possible economic development and the potential of growing the art program and to stimulate sales in the Auto Square. It was requested that this be brought to the commission for further consideration of a possible request to the city council to support a study and evaluation of this program for possible implementation in the community. It is recommended that the commission review and consider the information provided in this report and either support or approve the idea or to or the second option would to be receive and file this report and take no further action. With that, I will close my introduction of this item and that the commission provide further direction as to what the direct.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to modify my original idea so that we start with one rather than start off the bat with all. I printed out these copies.
Thank you.
Oh, and I emailed to Kathy, and she printed up more. And Kathy, did you want to keep one? I have a copy. Okay, you have a copy. Okay. And yeah, and of course her printer was. Now I'll pass this down for the two, so they have better ink on theirs than because I was starting to run out of ink. It looks like it's basically to have a statue that would draw media as well as media attention from the local media, as well as something that could possibly be seen from the freeway and get more foot traffic into our auto dealers. So if we can eventually expand out to that broader idea that I put forward at the, what was it, July meeting. But this is just some options for that statue, you know, that I came up with based on, you know, the popularity of certain characters and whatnot, in order to, you know, from a marketing standpoint for our auto square. We did a remodel from the Dixieland type of design of the buildings to a more modern design of the buildings, and one statue of this that attracts a foot traffic to the auto square, to possibly multiple of these statues if the auto square dealers are bought in on this and go along with it, because we probably have to get their buy-in on this. But it could. This is similar to what was done in a business commercial district in Dallas, where they had a theme set up that attracts foot traffic and businesses to their area. This is only centered on the auto square because of you're dealing with a comic book, cartoon, film franchise that where you have robots that can transform into vehicles. And with our modern aesthetic, I thought it goes well, and you could get kids, you know, wanting to go see the statue or the statues eventually. But if we start off with just one statue and then work with the auto square as far as what that statue is, that would be the modification. And if they want to expand that program, then we can go back to that at some later date. But let's start off with one statue and see where it goes from there. As far as the modification to this item. So I'm yes. Motion to approve.
So, got a question. Is the statue you're talking? How big is this? How tall? And
Well, we can determine that ourselves in conjunction working with the city council. Uh, Whether or not if we go with say one of the dealers is open to it, but others aren't, we can go with one statue like on their building, and that would be a smaller type of a statue. Or we can go with one where the gazebo, or one, near the center of the auto square, that would be visible from the freeway. Maybe just the head of it, not the full statue.
must be.
But if you go with, say, but it would show a vehicle with the vehicle parts within the robot itself or the statue itself. So, and there are some examples there of toys or cartoons or comics in the packet that I provided.
What about the cost?
Well, a lot of it would be come out of our art budget, and some of it may come from the auto dealers. But this is just the first step, just like the last one was just the first step. And the whole thing is we want to generate more sales at the auto square. And not only would we be generating sales at the auto square, we'd probably be generating sales at the restaurants and stores over in the mall, because a lot of people who buy cars at the auto square get them serviced in the auto square. And while they're waiting, especially if they don't live locally, they go over to our mall or to our restaurants on the other side of the freeway. They take the little tram from the car dealership over there, and they spend their money there while they wait. And sometimes they work from like the food court, or they work from BJ's or any of the other restaurants over there, and spend their money here in Cerritos during their time waiting for their car to be serviced. And so you might have return that, once a year from those folks, or multiple times a year, if they're getting something added to their car, an add-on or whatnot. So that's the whole basis of the idea.
It's a great idea. I like it.
So
Kelly?
Well, you beat me to this, but I was wondering too about who's going to pay for this, the cost, and if it's coming out of the city's budget.
it would come out of the arts budget, and then maybe some of it would also be paid for by the auto square dealers, because they're required to put money towards artwork. So they, instead of putting it towards the art fund, they may put it towards this instead.
Okay. So cost is an issue for me, because now we're taking away from our more traditional art pieces that we see around the city. It's kind of our identity. I mean, the city is not an amusement park, which this is what it feels like to me. And to have, people trolling around the auto square looking at statues also presents a safety issue, because cars are coming in and out. And if we're just starting with one, what is there really to see if there's only one? Not to mention this feasibility factor of this $5 billion company, Hasbro, allowing us licensing rights, you know, this small city in Southern California, to, you know, model after their Transformers. I just don't see it, I guess.
Yeah, that this is the first step.
Okay.
Thank you, Kelly. Michelle?
I kind of agree with Kelly. There is proprietary to the company, and what will be the return of investment for the city. In addition to some safety concerns, because we're going to be having more people coming into the city. I know, for just to look.
Thank you, ladies. I do have a couple of concerns also similar to those. My first concern is if it does match the culture of our town, of Cerritos, similar to what you're saying, Kelly, that we're going to use the monies that we use for our traditional sculptures, what's seen in our sculpture garden. I'm concerned about it not going with the culture of Cerritos. The second thing is, no offense to Hasbro, I think we might have missed the window for the Autobots. I don't know when they're going to have a new release movie. I think we've passed the popularity of that movie series. And third, I suppose it's like my first, the cost. How would we pay for this? And though it would be so complimentary, but for Hasbro to back us on this, I don't think it would happen. So with that, I motion to motion option 2.
There's a motion on the floor.
Oh, excuse me.
Is there a second? The motion dies. So we're ready for another motion, if you'd like.
I'd like to motion that we receive and file this report and take no further action.
I second.
Thank you. Oh, we will do this.
Did everyone vote? Motion carries 4-1.
Thank you.
Madam Chair and members of the commission, staff would like to request that item 7C be postponed to the next regular meeting in January. Staff would like to more information presented in the report, as the person to present the report was unable to attend tonight, so we would like to postpone this until January. Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
A motion on this?
Second.
Motion carries 5-0.
We'll go on to reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the commission. Staff would like to bring a report to the commission on some of the activities that have been done in the last several months. The first thing I'd like to make a brief report on is our attendance at the Loveland Sculpture Festival. And I will guide you to the PowerPoint. Okay, the first slide. the Loveland Sculpture Show. 8 a.m., sorry. So several months ago, staff and Commissioner Colwell and Chair Villaluna, and also Councilwoman Johnson attended the 40th annual anniversary of the Sculpture Festival in Loveland. This is held in Benson Park at North Lake Park. As you can see, this map shows the general layout of the Sculpture Festival. There are 4 major tents that house artwork from about 150 different artists. Next slide. Within the 4 tents, as I said, there was about 150 artists participating with numerous artworks that they brought to the show. Many of the artists come from Loveland, but they also come from other parts of the country. The artwork that was presented showcases many different styles and materials, sizes, and diversity. The artwork is made of different materials. Most of it is bronze and different types of metals, but there's also glass, ceramics, and wood pieces that are displayed. Next slide, please. We were able to visit the booths of some of the artists that we know. The commissioners were able to visit with this artist, Jane D. Decker, who is the artist that is doing our historical art piece of the cow. And we were looking at some of her newer works, a different direction that she's taking. Next slide, please. Also, we visited with artist Ted Shaw, who, as you can see in this slide, he has a piece in our sculpture garden, Mirage, and this was placed about 15 to 20 years ago, and this was Ted's first major art piece that he had created, and we were lucky to have his first piece here in our own garden. Next slide, please. One of the highlights of this the tour in Loveland also gave us the opportunity to visit a foundry where a lot of our art pieces have been cast. We were taken through the foundry and we were given the basic steps as to how an art piece is made, from the mold to the pouring of the wax and the creating of the shell and the pouring of the metal, and how all of this comes together and ends up with a major art piece. Next slide, please. In this slide, you can see that we were able to, at this time, capture the timing of when the metal was melted and being poured into the different molds to make the art piece. Next slide, please. We were also able to go to the foundry that has the completed art pieces of our tribute to public safety. The 3 major art pieces for the monument have been completed. In this slide, you can see on the left slide the different phases of the patina. The one on the left is a completed art piece with the full patina in place, and the other two are in the process of being finished with that same matching finish, so that all of the pieces will match when they are installed here. In this picture, with our Cerritos group are the artist Gary Alsum, as well as John Kincaid. He's the executive director of the National Sculptors Guild. Next slide, please. We were also able to go on a studio tour of the artist, Jane D. Decker, who is currently working on the art piece that is going to be installed later next year. This is the historical Milking Time art piece. On the table on the foreground is the clay model that was presented to the commission and the city council for review and approval. The back, behind that on the left slide, is the beginning of the cow that is starting to take place. This is the basic foundation of the art piece, and from that, the clay will be applied and shaped to go further into the process. Next slide, please. In October, we also had the maquette show that showcased the city's collection of the different maquettes. This program began last year, and our intent was to bring in residents and the community that has that are sight impaired, so that they could visualize by touch what some of the public artwork looks like. The city displayed 10 to 12 of our maquettes in the library on a Saturday afternoon. We had over 80 participants that visited the exhibition. We had volunteers from the Friends of the Library. We had staff, and Commissioner Colwell also was able to help make the presentation to the community. Next slide, please. And these are some snapshots of our visitors and how we encouraged them to touch the different art pieces so that they could get an idea as to what these art pieces feel like, and how the touch of that can guide you through what the art piece would look like. Next slide, please. And here is these next couple slides will show how the visually impaired are able to visualize through touch the different art pieces. Next slide, please. Next slide. And then this last slide is actually showing the arts and crafts table that that was sponsored by the library staff, and it was encouraging children to imagine their own pieces of artwork through clay, and they were given pieces of clay to make their own little sculptures. And that concludes an update as to some of the activities of the commission. I would invite any comments that the commission may have on any of that.
Thank you, Kathy. Nice job. I just personally, having been able to participate in both the Loveland show as well as the maquette, very, very rewarding experience for me on both ends. And for the maquette show this year compared to the one we had last year, it was maybe twice the attendees. And we had more visually impaired people this year than we did last year. So that was good, rewarding. A lot of people from blind schools or who took art classes in the blind schools, and the teachers were telling them about this. So the students, these adult students, were coming to see this or to, participate. But I think it was very successful, and I think this just bodes well for future maquette shows.
We are planning to do this again next year,
Good.
probably another weekend within the month of October. But we feel like this program is growing, and we'd like to share more of the experience with our patrons.
Yes, great.
I agree with Kelly. The pictures, the slides brought back so many memories. Not only I appreciate it so much, the opportunity, the trip to Loveland. It was not only a good time, it was so educational and rewarding, I think, is a perfect adjective to describe it. I hope we get to do it again this upcoming year, to be able to get to know the artists and how the sculptures begin and finish. I have to admit, I didn't know how the bronze sculptures were made. So to see that step by step and to be in the foundries, to actually see other artists making their pieces, to have fellowship with each other, to get to know each other, to have fellowship, to have meals with the artists. It was just very rewarding. I think that's a perfect adjective, Kelly. It was such a good time, and I appreciate it. I'm so grateful. It's nice to see the participation and the response with the maquette event. Unfortunately, I didn't attend this year, but last year's was great, so it must have been even better, like you say. Did we get good response from the attendees?
Yes, in fact, we were discussing how, if it was possible to do more of an outreach program where we could go to the different institutions, because often it's difficult for those that have disabilities to get transportation here. So if we could find a way to go to the different schools with maybe our collection, that was a suggestion that was made that could improve the program. But there is a lot of difficulty in that too, in transporting
Sure.
the art pieces, because being small, they are more delicate, and it's just hard to make that move. But I do understand that would be important to a lot of different institutions if we could go out to them.
Sure.
So something to think about.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
But to just expand on
go-
your
yes.
comments, I'm sorry, just a
No.
little bit, as far as the Loveland and touring the foundry and talking to the artists and understanding the step by step, to then see the works of art that we have in our city, it makes me appreciate where they came from, even more. I mean, besides they're beautiful to look at, but now it's like you totally understand all the levels in between from start to finish, and that was very nice.
Absolutely. There's a different connection. We're related to the sculptures. now.
Yes.
There's a little bit of a different a connection, a different loyalty to them now too. Yeah, we're a little protective over our art now.
And I think it gives you a better understanding of the art pieces and when they're made, how many different hands it passes through to get from start to finish. It's not just one person that does everything. There's a lot of different trades involved, a lot of different steps involved. So, and materials, so that when you see what the cost of an art piece is, then you can appreciate the value of it. You know, it's like, well, why would it cost that much? But along the way, you know, the materials are very expensive, the transport's very expensive, and all the different trades are specialists of their own.
Correct.
So it is a costly investment.
Yeah, like you said, I 100% agree. I understand the value of them more now. Another thing, too, that I appreciated from the artist, talking with them and sitting with them, they regard our community. They truly regard the city of Cerritos as family to them.
Yes.
And it was very sweet to hear that from them. I thought I had my ideas of, oh, we're going to meet with the artists, but they truly, it seems they truly love our community. They're so appreciative of us. They're excited about coming. So it was such a treat. I'm so grateful. Thank you. No other reports, Kathy?
No other reports from staff, and we will give the opportunity for the commission to make any comments they have at this time.
Oh,
Go ahead, Pramod.
Well, I don't have any comment, but I think only comments on 9th. I think we are going on the Santa's trip on Monday 9th. So first time, looks like I'm looking forward to get opportunity to go in the round, but the Santa's parade.
my comment is really more of a question to Kathy. What's the progress with regards to the public safety memorial that we are constructing?
The public safety monument is still in progress. The art pieces have been shipped from Loveland, and they are in a warehouse in Orange County right now, waiting for installation. The concrete work is being done, as well as electrical work. The plans are underway for the installation of the landscaping soon. And we're hoping that the issues that we have been having with the quarries on getting the stone for the major walls, we're working closely with the quarry companies to find the proper stone. We, at one time, had the quarry bring up the stone, and unfortunately it wasn't able to be used because the raw stone came out, and then when they started cutting into it, there were a lot of holes and fissures in it. So they have to quarry for, they have to go to the quarry for another dig and finding the stone. But we're also looking at other quarries. There's, many issues involved, but that is the main holdup. So we're still hoping in maybe January, a lot of this can be rectified. A lot of it will depend on the weather situation too, because the quarries were hit by the hurricanes back east, and floods and things like that, natural disasters. But we are moving along. Most of it is done, and we're still in the process.
Any idea as far as ETA, as far as when it will all be finished, or is that still dependent upon
We are still
the
looking
grant?
at possibly February, but a lot depends on weather and the stone and labor issues.
So we should know by January as far as whether or not it will be fully installed by sometime in February, or if it would be later.
I think as time progresses, we will know a little bit more. But, a lot of things are out of our hands, it's difficult to pinpoint and say we're going to dedicate on this certain date because of all the holdups that we've had. And historically, with this project, there have been a number of issues, and mainly having to do with the stone.
Okay.
How is the milking time statue going?
Milking time is progressing. The estimated time on that when we signed the contract was about 13, 14 months out. So I believe by next summer, we will have a good feel for the completion, and it could be completed a little bit sooner. I know the artist is very anxious, and she is progressing at a pretty good speed on this project.
Anyone else? Okay, if there aren't any more comments, we'll adjourn the meeting.
Would you like to comment on your trip and in accordance with the law attended on behalf of to Loveland?
Yes, let me something. Because we have to comment according.
No.
Basically, just stating that you attended.
Basically say that on behalf of the city Arts Festival.
Okay. On behalf of Kelly and I both, or okay. On behalf of the city of Cerritos, Commissioner Caldwell and I attended Loveland for the Arts Festival. Thank you. Now we can adjourn the meeting.